Hello and welcome to Trojan Sports Now. I'm Seth Carpenter.
And I'm Jessica Phillips. Stick around as we bring you the latest news and scores from Troy Athletics. The Trojan baseball team had positional workouts on Thursday to prepare for today, the first official day of practice. The baseball program held positional workouts on Thursday, the day before the first official day of workouts. Head coach Mark Smart says he is just ready to get the season rolling.
This is my 5th year as a head coach, and really believe that we've done some things to be in position with this ball club to really challenge and do some great things with this 2020 season. Reason to be optimistic, certainly we've got several players back. They've got great experience.
With opening day just 3 weeks away, the Trojans have a lot to look forward to in the upcoming season, one being their strength of schedule this year.
Probably the most exciting thing for me, we've got one of the more challenging schedules this year than we've had in some years in the past. We play several games against quality teams. Arkansas, who's been in the College World Series the last 2 years, is coming back to Troy, first time in quite a while, so we're excited to have them. A lot of things to look forward to. Looking forward to really getting started with our club tomorrow, getting game preparation done. We've got 3 weeks. Opening day, February 14th. Can't get here fast enough.
Even with a lot of new players for the Trojans, this still makes one of the most experienced offensive teams for Troy.
We've got a lot of new guys on the team, a lot of depth in places we didn't have depth last year, and I feel like we're a much better team all around, and I cannot wait to see what the year brings.
Troy will open at home on February 14th against Northern Kentucky. Jessica Phillips, Troy Trojan Vision Sports.
Troy women's basketball got back into the win column last Saturday with a win at Georgia Southern. The Trojans used a strong defensive effort in the second quarter, holding the Eagles scoreless for nearly 9 minutes. Troy held Georgia Southern scoreless while scoring 22 straight points on their way to a 79-69 victory. On Saturday, Troy shot 36% from the field on 31 of 87 shooting, while Georgia Southern shot 32% on 21 of 66 shooting. Japonica James led the way for Troy with a team-high 19 points while going a perfect 5 for 5 from the charity stripe. She also added 5 boards and 4 steals. Taja Moore finished second on the team in scoring with 12 points and 9 rebounds, while Jasmine Robinson added 10 points.
The Trojans men's basketball team was also taking on Georgia State this weekend, but they were in Atlanta. After another weekend of conference games, the Trojans are bringing back another W after defeating the Georgia State Panthers 71-57 on Saturday, extending their 4-game road winning streak to 5. The Trojans went 1 for 11 from the foul line in the first half, missing not 1, not 2, but 8 straight free throws before hitting 9 straight to end the game.
But there were a lot of unexpected things in this game. We didn't expect to miss 8 straight free throws and then make 9 down the stretch. And there were just some things that it's just basketball, though. We can't account for everything. We had Coach Graff had a great game plan. The players came out and executed it. We did not play with as much energy as we wanted to. That could be a problem of being on the road so long and that kind of thing.
Amber Rivers led the Trojans with 13 points, only 4 points away of becoming the 24th member of the 1,000-point club at Troy. Rivers tied her career high of 2 blocks, while Kate Rogers recorded her 16th block for this season and now has at least 1 block in the past 5 games. With 2 minutes and 49 seconds left in the game, the Trojans only had a 6-point lead, but junior forward Taisha Moore came down and scored back-to-back, extending the lead to 65-57. Troy went for a 13-2 run in the final few minutes to close out the game.
We have great support on the bench for each other, and that chemistry can take us a long way. I actually had a coach call me this week and said they studied the film of our game to watch the bench to show their team how to cheer for each other, because I think we do. I think we're top in Sunbelt in that, or maybe top in the nation. We really cheer for each other. We're for each other. Whoever's in, the other ones have their back on the bench.
Troy's back home in Trojan Arena to take on Texas State for another conference game. Although Texas State is last in the conference, it's still important for Troy to come ready to play. In Atlanta, Jessica Phillips, Troy Trojan Vision News.
And the Trojan women's basketball team held a board meeting in Trojan Arena last night as dominating on the glass helped lead the team to a big victory over Texas State. In a matchup between Texas State Bobcats and the Troy Trojans, it was the Bobcats that got off to a good start against the Trojans, holding the Trojans to just 13 points in the first quarter. Head coach Shannon Rigby had a game plan going into the second quarter, though.
Well, we were turning the ball over. They were doing okay on defense, so we really didn't make adjustments on defense. We were doing okay. It's just we were a little anxious, dribbling off of people's feet and things like that. We had 7 turnovers in the first quarter, so that's not acceptable. Once we stopped turning the ball over and settled down and get the ball into the post, things started working in our favor.
And worked in the Trojans' favor it did. As the Trojans' defense and offense was starting to click in the second quarter, the Trojans would outscore the Bobcats 22-9 in the second quarter and wouldn't look back for the rest of the game, winning 84-50. But the main reason for the win wasn't the offense or the defense. It was rebounding.
It is the number one thing we stress every day is rebounding. There is nothing we stress more, not scoring, not defense. The thing we stress the most on a consistent basis is rebounding. So it makes us feel good because, you know, they're taking instruction and they're taking that day to day and getting better and taking it seriously. So it really makes me proud of the team.
And leading the effort in rebounding for the Trojans was Japonica James with 11 rebounds, and off the bench was Alexis Dye with 16 rebounds. Head coach Shannon Rigby talked about their performances after the game.
I'm really proud of the team. They played defense for 40 minutes. They were really intense on defense. Post players did a lot of special things with Japonica James with 28 points, and I know a double-double. Alexis Dye with 16 rebounds, I think 12 points. That's pretty special coming off the bench.
And in that game as well, senior Amber Rivers reached the career 1,000-point mark on 4 of 15 shooting game last night and finished with 8 points.
The men's basketball team was in action last night in Trojan Arena against conference foe Georgia Southern. Seth Carpenter has the action in Trojan Arena.
Conference matchup Thursday night, it was the Trojans who got off to a fast start against Georgia Southern, hitting 2 early threes to take an early 12-6 lead. But then the Eagles would respond with an 8-0 run and would take a 14-12 lead. From then on, it would be Georgia Southern taking control of the game, leading 43-35 at halftime, and ultimately winning the game 82-66. Head coach Scott Cross talked about what went wrong after the game.
They have 5 guys that can really score it. They do a great job defensively. Their zone gave us a little bit of trouble. We could never really get in a rhythm. They kept us off balance with their half-court pressure back to their zone. We just have to regroup and we have to find a way to get better, but our guys have to do a better job defensively. We can't give up 56% or whatever they shot from the field. That's not going to cut it.
But it wasn't just the defense that messed up the Trojans' offense. It was the Eagles' ability to switch into different types of defenses and have the same success.
Well, they got us out of rhythm with their 1-2-2 half-court pressure, and then they went man-to-man and they were denying, and so we couldn't run some of the sets that we were working on. Really got us out of rhythm, and then they mixed it up and they went to that 1-1-3 zone, and our guys just were so out of rhythm. We weren't moving the ball.
Another thing the Trojans need to improve on, Coach said, was not committing live ball turnovers.
It's been a problem the last couple of games, and it's not just the turnovers, it's the live ball turnovers. So we're actually starting to break form and passing it to the other team, and they're going down shooting an uncontested layups.
And the Trojan men's basketball team held strong at home last weekend with a big win over conference opponent Georgia State. Sam Granville has the highlights and has the sights and sounds from Trojan Arena.
Energy was through the roof in Trojan Arena on Saturday as the men's basketball team came back from a 2-game skid in conference play to take down Sunbelt leader Georgia State 75-65. The game was dictated by a series of runs by both teams, and neither side had a double-digit lead into the last 30 seconds of the game. The Trojans allowed the Panthers to hit 5 threes at nearly 40% in the first half, but buckled down in the second, forcing their opponent to shoot only 25% from that range.
They're shooting 40%. They're 6th in the country in three-point percentages, so we couldn't give them any open threes, and our guys, I think we held them right around 30%, which is low for them. I thought that was the difference in the game. We didn't really let them get hot, and our fans made a huge difference too. They were loud in here, and I think that probably made it tougher on them to hit threes.
The Trojans had 4 players in double figures and were led by junior guard Ty Gordon's career-best 20 points. He also added 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and shot 5 of 10 from three-point range. However, Coach Cross's MVP for the game went to sophomore KJ Simon. His 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists were only a glimpse into the spark and energy he brought for his team. With 2 minutes left in the game, Simon was fouled on the press break, resulting in a play that left the arena rocking.
We just got a team full of dogs and we ready. So they got a little rowdy, we got a little rowdy too, and we just picked up the energy and kept playing.
The Panthers did cut the Troy lead to just 68-62 with 1:41 remaining, but the Trojans' defense and crunch time free throws held off the attack to defeat Georgia State by 10.
You know, it's all about, for me, the toughest team, I feel like, always wins. And tonight we were the toughest team, and it's a credit to our guys for stepping up to the challenge.
Troy hits the road for its next contest against new Sunbelt leader Little Rock on Wednesday night. Sam Granville, Troy, Trojan Vision Sports.
Despite keeping things close in the first half, the Troy men's basketball team were the inferior Trojans Wednesday night against first place Arkansas Little Rock. Troy suffered death by three-pointers as they were only shot 27% from downtown and shot just 7 of 26 from the three-point line for the game. Little Rock, meanwhile, shot 52% from the field in the second half, which included an 11-3 run to start the half. Ty Gordon would finish the game with 15 points and shot 50% from the three-point line. Desmond Williams finished with 10 points and the only other Trojan to hit double figures.
Troy track and field program had yet another successful weekend, this time at the 3-day Sanford Invitational. The Trojans finished with 3 individual champions and a win in this women's 1,600-meter relay. Michael Alvarez claimed his second crown in as many weekends in the men's weight throw with a toss of 20.20 meters. Tanner Guest was the first runner across the finish line in the women's mile, going the distance in 5 minutes and 2 seconds. And Gimafich claimed the top spot in the women's 800-meter with a time of 2 minutes and 15 seconds. The Troy women's 1,600-meter closed out the day on a strong note with a win in a time of 3 minutes and 49 seconds.
Troy track and field athlete Michael Alvarez has been named the Men's Sunbelt Field Athlete of the Week, the league announced Wednesday. This marks the second time in Alvarez's career and the first time since 2018 that he has received the honor. The senior thrower placed first in the men's weight throw Saturday at the Sanford Invitational with a toss of 20 points and 20 meters. It was his second consecutive week playing first in the event after winning the UAB Vulcan Invitational with a throw of 20.49 meters on January 11. That throw qualified Alvarez for the USA Track and Field Championships.
Troy men's tennis team opened its 2020 spring season in exciting fashion Saturday afternoon with a 6-1 victory at AUM. This marks the second consecutive season that Troy has opened their dual season with a win over AUM.
Still to come on Trojan Sports Now, we'll have a preview of the Trojan women's basketball team's matchup against UT Arlington at home on Saturday.
But first, I sat down with softball's head coach Beth Mullins. Stick around for more on Trojan Sports Now.